Ali never planned to return to the old house. After his mother passed away, he'd considered selling it, maybe even demolishing it. But something about the place pulled him back. The worn bricks, the silent wind chimes, the tiny backyard where she used to sit for hours. It wasn't just a house, it was her last echo. The shed in the back had always been off limits. As a kid, he'd asked her about it, but she'd brush it off with a soft smile and say, "That old thing, just junk and dust." It had stayed locked his whole life, the key hidden away somewhere he never found. When he moved in recently, the shed was still there, tilted, rusting, forgotten, but standing. It didn't look dangerous, just old. Karen didn't agree. She showed up the second day he moved in, clipboard in hand, fake smile already fading, short bobbed hair, loud perfume, and eyes that scanned like she owned every inch of the street. "That shed," she said, pointing without looking, "is an eyesore. Technically against HOA policy, it needs to come down." Ali glanced at it. "It's part of the house. Been here for decades. It's a hazard, could fall any day. And we've received complaints." She tapped her clipboard like that, sealed it. He nodded politely but didn't promise anything. He'd learned early on that sometimes the best answer is silence. But Karen didn't like being ignored. 2 days later, Ali returned home from work to find a city truck parked in his driveway. Dust still floated in the air. His backyard was a mess. Splinters, broken wood, shattered rusted hinges, scattered like bones. The shed was gone. A bulldozer idled by the fence, its driver chatting casually with a man in an HOA jacket. Karen stood in the middle of the yard with a proud look, hands on hips. "I did you a favor," she said, smiling faintly. "You won't believe the things we found inside. Totally unsafe." Ali's hands clenched at his sides. "Yeah, no, right. HOA emergency code allows us to act if there's an imminent threat to community safety. Page 9, subsection 4. You're welcome." He didn't speak, just stared at the spot where the shed used to stand. That night, long after everyone had gone, Ali took a flashlight and went outside. The ground was uneven, somewhat half buried. As he lifted broken planks, something metallic clanged underneath. He dropped to his knees and pulled. A metal box, thick and heavy, partially buried in the soil. It was sealed, but a tiny label stuck to the top. Private L.R., his mother's initials. The lock was old, but gave way with some effort. Inside, a leather-bound journal, old cassette tapes, and folders filled with typed pages. Some of them stamped, others handwritten. Names, signatures, property, blueprints, ledgers with transactions, numbers crossed out and rewritten, scanned images of checks, all of them tied to the HOA, all of them decades old. Ali flipped open the journal. The first page read, "If you're reading this, I have failed to stop them. They don't care about rules. They never did. But if you still believe in truth, you can finish what I couldn't." He sat back, heart pounding. It wasn't just about a shed. It wasn't just Karen being petty. His mother had been watching them all. She knew something. She tried to stop it. And now, without knowing, Karen had destroyed the one place where her secrets were safe. Except one secret survived, and Ali was holding it. In his hands. Ali didn't sleep that night. The journal trembled slightly in his hands. His mother's handwriting, once so familiar in birthday cards and grocery lists, now carried a different weight. These were her final thoughts, scribbled in fear, layered with warnings. He read through every line. Dates, initials, small drawings, of lot plans. Some of the entries hinted at illegal zoning approvals. Others referenced bribes. Contractors paid off in cash. One entry simply read, "HB threatened me today. I think Karen's involved too. I've hidden the tapes, just in case." Ali looked over at the stack of old cassette tapes sitting on the table beside him. The labels were faded, some unreadable. He grabbed his mother's old tape recorder, somehow still stored in one of the kitchen drawers, and inserted the first tape. A soft click, then a crackling voice. "You said you'd keep it quiet, Karen. This isn't part of the deal. Howard's gone missing, and if he ends up dead, it's on your hands." A chill ran down Ali's spine. Howard Beckman, the HOA's first treasurer, had vanished 5 years ago without a trace. The community whispered about it, but moved on quickly. Now, Ali was holding a recording of someone accusing Karen of being involved. He played another tape. "Can't go to the police? Too many people tied into this. It's not just HOA, it's the developer too. He's laundering everything through these fake landscaping invoices." Ali sat back, overwhelmed. His mother had uncovered an entire network of corruption, blackmail, and silent deals, and no one had ever known. Not until now. He needed to make copies. He scanned the documents, uploaded them to a cloud drive, and hid the originals in the attic. He'd barely finished when the doorbell rang. It was nearly 10 p.m. He peered through the peephole. No one, only a folded paper on the welcome mat. He opened the door cautiously and picked it up. A plain, white envelope. Inside, a single piece of paper. "Put it back. Forget what you found. Last warning." No signature. No handwriting. Typed, cleanly centered, almost mechanical. Ali stepped out into the street, scanning for any movement, but it was dead quiet. Porch lights flickered in the distance. Curtains twitched. Somewhere, someone was watching. The next morning, he went out to clear the last of the shed debris and noticed something odd. The bolts on the gate had been unscrewed, not broken, just removed, cleanly, silently. Someone had been inside. He rushed back in, checked the metal box, still there, but something felt off. The journal was slightly moved, and one cassette, the one about Karen and Howard, was missing. Allie's breath caught. Someone knew exactly what he had found, and they didn't just want to scare him. They were trying to erase the past before he could act. He logged into the neighborhood's community forum and created an anonymous thread titled, "Is your HOA hiding something?" He posted scanned pages, just a few names redacted, but with enough breadcrumbs to raise suspicion. Within an hour, the thread exploded. Comments rolled in, some in shock, some dismissive. A few warned him to delete it. By mid-afternoon, the post was gone. Admin removed it. Or someone higher. That evening, while checking his front door camera footage, Ali noticed a figure loitering across the street, motionless, staring, hoodie pulled low. The figure stood there for 10 minutes, then turned and walked into the shadows. Then his phone buzzed. An unknown number. No caller ID, just a text. "You think this is your story?" You're standing where she stood. Basement's waiting. Ali. Frozy had never been to the basement. His mother always kept it locked. He thought it was just old junk, flood damage from years ago. He never questioned it, until now. He rushed to the hallway closet and pulled down the keyring he found in the metal box, a small bronze key, marked only with a number 12. He turned to face the basement door, and this time he unlocked it. The basement door opened with a creak that sounded older than the house itself. Ali paused at the top of the narrow stairs. A damp, earthy scent drifted up, not the kind that came from dust or mold. It smelled preserved, almost like something intentionally sealed. He flicked the switch. Nothing. Dead bulb. He grabbed his phone, turned on the flashlight, and stepped down one careful creaking step at a time. The staircase ended in a small room with low ceilings and cracked concrete floors. A few shelves lined one side. Old tools, boxers, a forgotten laundry basket. But it wasn't until he turned to the far corner that his breath caught. A filing cabinet, large locked. Next to it, a corkboard, its pins still holding faded photographs. Notes, maps. He moved closer. A map of the neighborhood, marked with red dots. Some homes had big X's. His own home was circled in black. At the bottom, one name was scribbled in capital letters. Beckman. Ali stood motionless. The missing treasurer opened one of the nearby boxers. Inside were manila folders filled with copies of city permit applications, nearly all stamped approved, but they weren't supposed to be. Most of them violated zoning laws. Dates didn't line up. Contractor signatures were inconsistent. Then he found a folder marked Karen M. He opened it slowly. Photos. Dozens of them. Karen meeting a man in a car outside City Hall. Karen accepting what looked like an envelope. Karen walking into a building labeled Silver Ridge Developers, the same company now building luxury condos 2 blocks from their HOA area. But what shook him most was a document paper clipped to the front. A payment authorization form. $45,000. Signed by Karen. It was in his mother's handwriting at the bottom. Karen approved payment to Silver Ridge with HOA reserve funds. 0 member votes. Fraudulent, criminal. His phone vibrated in his hand. Another text? Same number. As before, now you understand why she hid it. But not why she died. Ali stared at the message. His heart raced. His mother's death had been ruled a stroke. No suspicion. No autopsy requested. But what if it wasn't natural? He looked back at the corkboard. In the lower corner was a sticky note. A single line. They came for Beckman first. I'm next. He leaned on the wall, trying to steady himself. His mother had known she was being watched, hunted, and now, someone was watching him the same way. Upstairs, a sound echoed, a slow, creaking noise. The front door. Ali killed the light on his phone and held his breath. Footsteps, careful, deliberate. Just inside the entryway, he moved quietly to the side of the basement, finding a rusted pipe wrench on the shelf. Every instinct told him to stay hidden, but the sound of the floorboard near the kitchen was too much to ignore. He took the wrench in both hands and climbed the stairs, one by one, as silently as possible. When he reached the top, he peered around the corner. The door was wide open, but no one was there. He stepped out, heart pounding, and saw something strange on the floor just inside the doorway. A business card. No name. No phone number. Only a single phrase, printed in clean, bold text. Next time, we take the house. He slammed the door shut and locked it. Then he made a decision. If they wanted a war, they'd get one. But he wouldn't fight it alone. Out his phone and searched one name from his mother's journal. Someone she once trusted, someone ex-HOA, and someone Karen tried to silence before. A woman named Delia Monroe. He found a number, rang twice. Then a quiet voice answered. You found the tapes, didn't you? Ali held the phone to his ear, frozen. You found the tapes, didn't you? The voice repeated. Calm, controlled, but something about the way she said it made him feel she had been waiting for this moment. Yes, he said slowly. My mother, she left them, along with everything else. A pause. Then the woman spoke. Again, meet me tomorrow. I'll tell you what she was never allowed to. She gave him an address, an old bookstore on the edge of the city, far from the HOA community, far from Karen's eyes. The call ended without a goodbye. The next morning, Allie drove to the address, staying off main roads. The bookshop sat between two closed storefronts, its faded sign barely hanging on. Inside, the lights were dim, the air thick with old paper and silence. She was sitting in the back. Delia Monroe looked like someone who used to smile often but hadn't in years. Her gray hair was tied back, her eyes sharp but tired. A scarf wrapped around her neck, not for fashion, more like protection. She didn't offer him tea or a seat. She just looked up and said, "You've started something they thought was buried." "I didn't start anything," Ollie replied. "Karen destroyed my shed. I just found what she missed." Delia nodded slowly. "And now they're watching you too." He placed the small folder of copied documents on the table. "Tell me about Beckman." Her expression darkened. "Howard Beckman was the only person who ever stood up to Karen before your mother. He was the treasurer for 6 years. Honest, loyal to the residents." He started questioning where the HOA reserve money was going. After a board meeting in 2019, he disappeared. Officially, he moved away without warning. But I don't buy it. Ollie leaned forward. "My mom mentioned him. She thought they were coming after her next. They were. I told her to leave the neighborhood. She didn't listen." Delia looked at the folder. She thought if she exposed them with facts, she'd win. "Did she die naturally?" he asked, voice tight. Delia didn't answer at first. Then she said, "They said it was a stroke. But your mother was healthy. No signs of anything. I wasn't allowed at the funeral. Karen said it was family only. That's when I left." Allie's mind raced. Who else is part of it? Karen runs the board, but she's not alone. There's a developer behind her, Thomas Kellner. He launders HOA funds into construction projects, uses fake permits, hides illegal builds through staged votes no one sees, and the city lets it slide because he donates to campaigns. Your mom had proof. If she's left it all behind, you're in danger. Ali took a deep breath. "I'm not afraid of them." Delia looked him dead in the eye. "You should be." Beckman wasn't. Just then, her eyes shifted past him. "Don't react," she whispered. Ali turned slightly. A man stood across the street, leaning against a pole, sunglasses, phone to his ear, but not talking. "Watching, they followed you," Delia said. "We have to move." They slipped out the back alley, Delia moving faster than her age suggested. In the car, she handed him a flash drive. "This has what I copied before I disappeared. Not everything, but it's enough to scare them." Ali took it. Delia hesitated. "There's one more thing. Before Beckman vanished, he sent me a single text, 4 words. I never understood it until now." She showed him her phone. A screenshot of the message. "It's under lot 17. Ali stared at it. Lot 17 wasn't just a random address. It was an empty fenced-off parcel inside the HOA. Abandoned for years. Labeled as pending development. A piece of land Karen had always refused to talk about. Delia leaned closer. "Whatever's buried there. It's what got him killed." Ali didn't speak the entire drive back home. The words "it's under lot 17" replayed in his head like a siren that wouldn't stop. Lot 17, it had always stood out, an ugly patch of land in a well-manicured neighborhood. Weeds taller, then fences, rusted locks on a crooked gate. No construction, no signage, no explanation. Karen always brushed it off as a pending beautification project. But now, Ali knew better. That night, he waited for darkness. Delia had offered to come, but he insisted she stay hidden. If this was a trap, only one of them should walk into it. At 1:23 a.m., dressed in black, Ali parked 3 blocks away and walked the rest of the distance. He cut through backyards, staying low, avoiding any motion lights. Lot 17 stood still, silent. The fence rattled slightly in the wind. He clipped the lock and slipped inside. He paused. Something felt off, not fear. Something deeper, like the ground itself was holding its breath. The soil was loose in the center, recently disturbed. He dropped to his knees and started digging with a garden claw he brought from his mother's shed. Each scoop of dirt made his hands tremble more. 10 minutes in, he hit something hard. Metal. He cleared the edges. It was a trunk, not new, rusted shut. He pulled harder, finally breaking it free from the earth. He opened the lid and shone his flashlight inside. At first, he couldn't process what he was seeing. Folders, cassette tapes, black and white photos, all wrapped in plastic. But beneath the paperwork was something worse. A shoe, then a leg. A decayed body curled in fetal position. Mouth still open, as if trying to scream through time. Ali stumbled back in shock. There was no doubt now. This was Howard Beckman. His mother had been right. They didn't just silence him, they buried him. Literally, the sound of a car door slammed somewhere in the distance. Ali turned off his light, breathing hard. He wasn't alone. He crouched behind the trunk and waited. Voices, 2 of them, flashlights flicked across the lot. "You sure someone came in here?" one whispered. Camera caught movement. "If he's here, he's finished." Ali held his breath. They passed within 10 feet of him, but didn't spot the trunk. Eventually, after a few minutes, they moved toward the far fence. scanning the edges. One man muttered something about Karen's orders and clearing this mess before sunrise. Ali didn't wait. He took photos, the trunk, the body, the ID tag on the wrist. He shoved 2 of the folders into his backpack, sealed the lid back down, and slipped away through the same path he came from. Back in his house, heart still pounding, he uploaded everything, sent backups to 2 private emails. Then he called Delia. Beckman's dead, he whispered. They buried him in lot 17. It's all there. Proof, body, everything. Silence on the other end. Then Delia said something he didn't expect. I think your mother knew all along. But she helped Howard collect those files? But when he disappeared, she told me she wasn't going to the police. Not yet. She said the HOA had people there too. Said if she moved too early, they'd come for her. So she hid it. In your shed? Ali sat down, shaking. It wasn't just Karen. It wasn't just fraud. This was murder, and they'd do it again if they had to. Suddenly, a sharp knock echoed on his front door. He checked the camera. No one. He opened the door carefully. A single object lay on his doorstep. It was a cassette, old labeled in his mother's handwriting. Play last. Ali stared at the cassette in his palm. It felt heavier than it should have. The handwriting across the label was unmistakable. His mother's neat looping strokes with slight slants at the edges. He'd seen it on school permission slips, recipe cards, and old birthday envelopes. But this time, it was attached to something far more serious. Play last. He inserted the tape into the old player and pressed play. It clicked, then hissed, softly before her voice came through, tired, measured, but calm. If you're listening to this, I didn't make it. Ali froze. The voice was so familiar it knocked the air from his chest. I tried to fight them, Ali. I really did, but I was alone, and they have too many people in the city office, in the board, even in the police department. I thought about running, but I couldn't. Not without finishing what Beckman and I started. A pause. They killed him. Ali closed his eyes. The words burned into him. They buried him under lot 17. Karen ordered it. But she wasn't the one who made it happen. The man who actually carried it out, the one who helped hide the body, who handled the dirty work, was someone I never expected. Someone you trusted to. Ali's hand clenched around the armrest. I couldn't prove it back then. But now you might. There was a rustling sound, like paper being folded. You know Mr. Hassan, right? Your old school principal. The one who lives 3 doors down from us. Ali's eyes widened. He was one of them. They used him to watch for anything suspicious. He's not just a neighbor. He was the one who called Karen the day Howard came to warn me. That same night, Beckman vanished. Ali sat in silence. He remembered Mr. Hassan. Always polite. Always waving. Once even helped fix his mailbox. Now, that smile felt like a mask. Another pause. They'll try to make this look like you're the one causing trouble. They'll call you unstable, maybe even dangerous. They'll try to bury you too, Ali. Not in dirt like Howard, but in lies. The tape crackled for a moment. You need to finish this. Expose them. But don't do it alone. Delia knows more than she ever admitted, and there's someone else you can trust. The tape stopped. Ali hit rewind. Nothing that was all. He sat there, stunned. His world, once neat and small, now felt like it was collapsing from the inside. His mother had been hunted. Howard had been murdered. Karen was just the visible face. The real rot was spread through every corner of the HOA like mold behind wallpaper. Ali stood and looked out his front window. Mr. Hassan's house was quiet, lights off, curtains drawn. But his car was gone. Someone had delivered the cassette tonight, and they wanted Ellie to know who was next. His phone buzzed. Private number. We saw what you dug up. You want to go public? Try. Let's see who they believe. He dialed Delia. We need to go bigger. The local forum's not enough. We need the press. Delia agreed to meet the next day. But before they ended the call, she added something strange. No, what's weird, she said softly. The tapes. Your mother only recorded what she couldn't write. But there's one tape she never gave anyone. A personal one. One about you. Ali froze. What do you mean? She said it was meant for your ears only, but I never found it. Maybe it's still somewhere. Ali turned and stared at the metal box from the shed, still resting in the hallway. He hadn't opened the false bottom yet. Ali sat cross-legged in front of the metal box like it was a tomb. He ran his fingers along the edges. Dust clung to every groove, the metal cold and unmoving, except for one small part on the bottom that felt slightly loose. He pressed it. Nothing. Pressed again, this time with more force, and heard a faint click. The false bottom popped open. Inside, wrapped in a plastic pouch, was a single cassette. No label, just a red dot on the center. He stared at it for a long time before pulling out the tape recorder and pressing it in. Click, static. Then his mother's voice, soft and slow. Ali, if you've found this, it means you've uncovered everything, or most of it. But before you go further, there's something you need to know about me and about you. Ali's chest tightened. There's a reason I never talked about your father. You were always too young to remember him clearly. He left when you were 5, or that's what I told you. The silence that followed was long, heavy, suffocating. The truth is, he didn't leave. He was taken. Ali's breath caught. His name was Amir Qureshi, and he was one of the founding members of the HOA back when it first started. Idealistic, naive. He thought it was about community, fairness, balance, but soon he saw the deals, the kickbacks, the pressure from developers. Karen wasn't in charge yet, but she was around even then. She worked behind the scenes, ambitious, ruthless. Ali leaned forward, frozen. Your father tried to expose something: missing money, unauthorized demolitions, a rigged vote about expanding HOA boundaries. He trusted the wrong person. Her voice trembled for the first time. He trusted Karen. Ali's blood ran cold. She told him she'd help him bring the evidence to the city. Instead, he vanished. No goodbye, no note, no police report filed. They said he left, but I never believed it, and I never found him. Tears welled in Ali's eyes. All these years, he thought his father abandoned them, but now you were too young, and I was too scared. But when Howard Beckman came to me years later, holding the same files Amir had once held, I knew it had come full circle. More silence. So I did what I could. I recorded everything. I saved it. I watched him. I documented every bribe, every broken promise, every whisper. But the deeper I dug, the more I realized this wasn't just corruption. A pause. This was a machine, a web of silence. People disappeared. Evidence vanished. Families left town and were never heard from again. Just like your father. Ali closed his eyes, fists shaking. You deserved the truth. But if I told you too early, they'd come for you too. Just like they did for him. Just like they did for Beckman. And maybe, just like they did for me. She took a breath, almost like a goodbye. But if you're listening to this, then you're still standing. And you're stronger than both of us ever were. So finish it. Show them what happens when people refuse to be silent. The tape ended with a soft click. Ali didn't move for a long time. The truth had not just shaken his world, it had shattered it. Karen didn't just destroy a shed, she had destroyed families, lives, history, and she had lied for decades. He opened his laptop, loaded the full drive of evidence, and began preparing an encrypted package for the press. He wouldn't wait any longer. The story would go live at dawn. But then, his phone rang. Unknown number. He let it ring. Then a voicemail came in. He played it. Ali, it's Delia. She sounded breathless. They found me. I don't know how. The message cut off with a sharp crash and a gasp. Then silence. Ali's hands shook as he replayed. Delia's voicemail. Ali, it's Delia. They found me. I don't know how. I'm crashed. Gasp. Then nothing. He called back. Straight to voicemail. Every second stretched into eternity as he stared at the encrypted file on his screen. Ready to be emailed to 6 different journalists across the country. Documents, voice recordings, financial evidence, property records, and now, even a recorded confession linking the HOA to the disappearances of not just Beckman, but his father. He didn't have the luxury to hesitate anymore. He hit send. Then, he left his house. Delia's bookstore was dark when he arrived. Her back entrance had been forced open. Inside, shelves were knocked over, and the safe where she stored the master flash drive gone. Her phone was still on the counter, buzzing with missed calls. He found no blood, no sign of Delia, but someone. I had been here with a message, pinned to the wall with a thumbtack, was a simple white slip. Karen wants a meeting. Sunrise, Community Center. Come alone. Ali stared at it, pulse hammering. He didn't trust them. He knew it was a trap, but he also knew something else. They were desperate now. Cornered animals lash out when wounded, and Karen's kingdom was bleeding. At 5:47 a.m., Ali walked through the side door of the HOA Community Center. It was quiet. Too quiet. The overhead lights flickered weakly. Coffee machines were still on, humming in the silence. The long glass windows behind him cast a shadow down the empty corridor. He entered the main meeting room and found Karen waiting. Alone, she sat at the head of the table like a queen in mourning, dressed all in beige, hair pulled back tight, and the same cold smile she wore when his shed came down. I assume you've sent the files, she said, not even looking at him. Go public any minute now, I figured, she said, standing slowly. It's always the quiet ones. Ali watched her carefully. She didn't seem afraid. If anything, she looked relieved. What did you do to Delia? Karen's eyes met his. Nothing. She ran. She was always a coward. You tried to kill her? Karen smiled. Just slightly. Prove it. Ali pulled out his phone, ready to play the tape he'd hidden in his pocket, but then a door creaked behind him. He turned and froze. Mr. Hassan stood in the doorway, but he wasn't alone. Behind him was his father. Ali's heart stopped. Older, grayer, thinner, but unmistakable. The man he thought was dead vanished, stood in front of him, eyes filled with a guilt too deep to measure. Ali, he said softly. Ali took a step back. No, you can't be. I didn't die. I disappeared. They let me disappear. Karen spoke from behind. He was the deal we made. One life in exchange for silence. He left willingly. He chose it. His father swallowed hard. They threatened. Your mother? And you? You were only 5. I thought I could protect you by leaving. Ali's voice cracked. You left us to rot. I didn't have a choice. Ali turned to Karen, rage in his eyes. And now what? You brought him here to what? Confuse me. Scare me. No, Karen said. I brought him because I'm finished. You've already ended this. I just wanted you to see the cost. The room was silent. Then Ali's phone buzzed. 6 notifications. Story published. Documents verified. National HOA corruption ring uncovered. It was done. Karen sighed and walked toward the window. They'll take me in, but they'll replace me. The system never changes. Ali, just the face on the brochure. He didn't respond. Mr. Hassan stayed silent to his part exposed. Ali walked out without another word. By noon, federal agents were in the neighborhood. Karen was arrested. The HOA was disbanded. Hidden accounts were frozen. Backdoor contractors vanished. They never found Delia. And Ali's father, he left again. This time for good, but not before leaving Ali a note. You finished what I couldn't. I'm proud of you, son. Ali stood in the backyard that evening, where the shed once stood. The soil had healed. The wind was calm. But beneath it all, a fire had finally burned through the lies. And now, the truth stood in its place. The end.